Welcome to Laptop Radio. Today's topic is how to find both comfort and fashion in your footwear. We have Brian Alves with us, and he is the National Sales Manager for the US at Revere Shoes. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Where did we meet? At the airplane.
Yes, on the airplane. I think were you coming back from a trip from Africa?
It was either Africa or Puerto Rico. But I remember that I was sitting right next to you. And I was telling you that once a year I do things that are outside of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me stories about that. And it's the weirdest thing. Like we were both in sync about that.
We were. We were.
And so then we talk about shoes, which is what we're doing today. Tell us your story.
Yeah. So, speaking of comfort zones, I've spent most of the last 25 plus years on the comfort side of the footwear business for a variety of companies. And a couple of years ago, I started with Revere Shoes. And Revere was founded back in 2012 in Australia by husband and wife and another partner of theirs. And they had both been in the fashion retail world, and they saw a big void and a big need for providing stylish and fashionable shoes for customers, specifically that had custom orthotics that they couldn't find stylish and fashionable shoes to fit into. So in Australia, that's where they launched by designing and manufacturing stylish sandals with removable footbeds and some other features and benefits that I'll get into a bit later. In 2016, they brought Revere here to the United States. They moved, left everyone behind. And not only did they see an opportunity here on the health and wellness side of retail, sort of more on the medical side of the business, but also in the more traditional premium family sit and fit shoe stores, which is where we have been developing our business.
I'm a woman and I love shoes,
Mm-hmm.
as you know. I know that when I was working at different tech companies, it's always really hard to find shoes that are comfortable. I wear a lot of heels, of course. Of course, emphasized. I also work with a lot of sales people or sales businesswomen who are women. And we complain about our shoes or our feet hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big problem. What are some other problems today regarding shoes and comfort?
Well, that is I wouldn't call it a problem. I think it's a challenge. I think also challenges offer us the ability to find opportunities in those challenges or problems. I think, and the type of footwear that you typically wear, heels, it's a little bit more challenging. Now, Revere designs and makes shoes that are more a little bit flatter, or at the most have maybe a 1.5, 1.75 inch wedge. So it offers some height, but not your traditional pump with a 2-inch heel. But it all starts with the sole of the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that we call the bottom of the shoe the sole, because that is really the foundation of us as a physical human being, what we have on our feet and how it makes us look and feel throughout the day. And just as our soul is our sort of spiritual being that is genuinely us. So we start with the sole of the shoe. So we start with materials that are not just slip resistant, but also shock absorbing and flexible. And the more shock absorbing, the more cushion, the more flexible a shoe can be, the longer you can wear that shoe with more energy and without the fatigue, without pain. And we aside from the outsole and the midsole, where all the cushioning and flexibility is, we also design our shoes with a unique personal fitting system that allows the wearer to really personalize and customize the fit to to her feet. We do sell some men's product, but we're mostly a women's wholesale company. And so we do a lot of sandals with straps that have all kinds of adjustability. We have the straps also include strap extensions. So they are extenders that you can actually adhere with a hook and loop system to the existing straps, and it gives you an additional ½ inch of additional width fitting. So throughout the day, you can adjust and maneuver the straps to how your feet are changing and just whatever they're doing throughout the day. We're all on our feet, 12, 16, 18, 20 hours a day. And they're not the same when we first get up as to what they are, when we go to bed at night. So our logo, sort of our catchphrase is, we're inspired by fashion, but we design and engineer our product for comfort. So a lot of thought and engineering goes into what makes up our shoes.
Sometimes I switch between problem and challenges, because I think in the startup world, people asked, or investors always ask, what is the problem? In the industry world, it's a little bit different, because there's no such thing as problem. There are just challenges. And with shoes, the problem is when my feet hurt. And the challenges is always looking for a pair of shoes to make me able to walk the entire conference without hurting. I remember I was wearing a pair of Jimmy Choo wedges and at a conference, and it was hurting so much that it was cutting into my feet. I was walking about 8 hours a day for about 3 days. And I literally had to go to Old Navy and buy a pair of sandals, which I thought was kind of funny. Not only in price, but also in branding and materials. The guys where I stopped to tell them the story were laughing at me where I charged my phone. It will really make a huge difference. So I love the idea or the reality of comfort in shoes. I think that's really important, especially for a woman who is active, who's walking around, not around their desk all day, but actually live their life, like they're at conferences, they're driving somewhere, they're in the field.
Yeah. So, I think, whether I'm the sales manager or, my sales reps or the people on the selling floor, I think we do have a responsibility to educate the consumer on how our feet function, how they're designed, and explain the features and benefits of the shoes that they're trying on. Some beautifully fashioned high heels are not going to they're not engineered or designed to give you all day comfort. They're going to be good for a couple of hours if you're at a function or a wedding or a party, but they're not going to allow you to walk the floor of a shoe show all day long or stand on your feet all day long. So, I think it is up to us to ask the questions of the consumer. Okay, why are you wearing these? Why do you want to purchase these shoes? Where are you going to wear them? How are you going to wear them? How long are you going to wear them? And I think, we do have a responsibility to find out, okay, maybe this heel isn't what this consumer really needs. Maybe that's what she came in looking for and wanting. But at the end of the day, I think it could do more harm by just being a clerk on the floor and just handing a consumer a product when they don't know the outcome or the end use of that product. I think consumers buy products and services based on benefits, based on what is this product or service going to do for me. I talk a lot about features because that's the components of the shoe. But really, when a customer buys our shoe, she's buying it because she can personalize the shoe, customize it, and allow her to have more energy walking all day long. She doesn't buy it because the straps can be made longer or shorter. She buys it because she's going to be allowed, she's going to have that much more energy walking around all day. I still would prefer to use the word challenge, but it's a challenge because I don't think, there's enough information out there for consumers on just, I mean, we have information at our fingertips on everything we can imagine, but it's the information is diluted and at some point needs to become specific to our unique individual wants and needs.
I agree with you. When I go to Nordstrom to look at shoes, you just see shoes after shoes. There's really not a lot of information about each particular kind of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the Revere comfort shoes and their style and their fashion. And I know with you, Brian, you're probably the only person in my circle that asks me what I wear today because you care about fashion. And so when I buy shoes, not only do I look at comfort, I also care about fashion. And that's why I love shoes, because of its creativity and the style. I probably have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of shoes because I do have a shoe closet, as you know. So I want you to really talk about, how do you guys balance comfort and fashion?
Yeah, and that is an excellent question, because there was a time not that long ago when consumers, men or women, were faced with having to buy fashion or comfort.
Mhm.
And when the athletic craze started happening, 20, 30 years ago, that started changing. And when consumers started wearing more athletic and athleisure footwear and discovered comfort, then they realized, well, why can't I have comfort and fashion? And what we do, and what we do very well, is we're able to engineer and design the shoes based on comfort. So that's all about the materials and how they work with each other. But then what we do when it comes to fashion is we take all our inspiration from the fashion world. And with our sandals and footwear, we use a lot of materials that have metallic finishes, animal prints, lizard, faux lizard prints. They're rich, they're soft, they're supple. There's something about each and every one that pops. So we use a combination of materials and colors on our shoes so that they aren't like your run-of-the-mill everyday, just sort of more dum-dum casual shoe. They look fashionable, but underneath they have just an amazing fit and comfort capability and deliver just a ton of benefits to the consumer.
I'm a dancer and I also travel a lot. So in the last couple of years when I'm traveling, I basically bring a pair of dancing shoes because it's both light
Mm-hmm.
and I can wear dresses with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks good as well with shorts and dresses. Because of this problem or challenge that we cannot find as a consumer,
Mm-hmm.
I personally cannot find a pair of shoes that is both fashionable and comfortable. When I'm buying a pair of shoes that is both, what kind of features should I focus on or look for?
Again, it starts with the sole. Is the sole of the shoe or the sandal, is it flexible? Is it slip resistant? Is it made of a material that is going to give and provide shock absorption and cushioning to the foot? Does it have an insole or a footbed inside of the shoe that your foot actually sits on that also does the same as the outsole? The footbed should also offer a ton of cushioning, whether or not it's made from a memory foam or a material that's just going to provide that additional shock absorption. So it really, and we sort of take this tone of creating, beauty in a shoe from the inside out.
Mhm.
So, and that's what, I'm speaking about, is that, you can make a beautiful looking shoe, but if it just stops at how it looks from the outside, it's not going to deliver all the benefits of being a fashionable and comfortable shoe. So, and I think, and Nordstrom's a great retailer. We're developing our brand in mostly the premium independent sit and fit retailers throughout this country for the reason that they do a great job of explaining and teaching the benefits of our product. Because, you know, if you walk into any retailer and you say, I want this black heel shoe, a lot of times if it's in a big box store, A, you're not going to have any help or service, but B, you're just going to pick what you see because that's what you think you need. But it's just like, you know, if I had questions about the technical world that you play in so much, I'd go to you because you're an expert. I wouldn't try to look it up online because I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. So it's the same, you know, when people buy products online. Yes, it's convenient and it shows up the next day. However, it doesn't provide all the benefits of really what you should be looking for in any product.
Brian, let's talk a little bit about that experience. I am a woman, so I happen to love shoes. Mm-hmm. And I happen to shop before, but I really don't love the mall because it just wastes a lot of my time. So I don't really like walking around for hours and hours just to look for one thing. And I know that sounds really weird, but I never really like to spend time at malls. I'm just wondering how my shoe shopping experience could be better at these boutique shops. Mm-hmm. And I want you to talk a little about, one, your education, how your company educate channels and other distribution companies about the shoes so that they can sell them. I guess my second follow-up question to that is, where could people specifically find your shoes in terms of these shops?
So the first part of the question, you know, we spend a lot of time on training. It would do us no good at all if we made these beautiful looking shoes with all these features and benefits and just sold them as beautiful looking shoes, because it wouldn't be doing us or the product the justice that it really deserved. Because we know there are so many people out there that have issues or challenges in finding comfortable shoes, whether people are hard to fit because maybe their feet are a little bit wider or a little bit narrower, or they need shoes that can accommodate custom orthotics or bunions, and they can't find sandals that can accommodate and work for them all day long. So, you know, we start out by, you know, I've been in this industry for a long time, and I do know the majority of the premium independent retailers throughout this country, and they all have the same philosophy and mindset of teaching their customers. So our role is to first find those retailers that are like-minded. You know, we're not looking to be an enormous company that sells to everybody. We have a specific target market, and we fill a void, and we fill a niche that not a lot of footwear vendors can fill. So we need to find those retailers that get it. And then on top of that, we have several different training tools. We have hard copies, we have digital assets such as videos on our brand, on the product, on features and benefits. We spend a lot of time training one-on-one or in the store, physically in front of a group of sales associates and the staff. We know that they understand what they're getting when they get our shoes. And it's the same for the sales staff, in that, you know, if they're not comfortable with our product, they're not going to sell it. And if they're not going to sell it, then we're not going to be successful. Now, obviously, the product has to look great and it has to feel great, and the consumers have to love it, because ultimately the consumers are the ones that are voting on whether or not the product is going to work or not. But there's a lot of work before that has to be done to make sure that we're providing all the benefits and all the tools to deliver all of the value that the consumer is going to get. Now, we do have a website, revereshoes.com. And on revereshoes.com, it has a dealer where to buy, so that you can click on and plug in your zip code to find out where those retailers are located near you. And, I think I get it with the malls. I mean, I've traveled the country quite a bit and have been in most of the major malls and a lot of the not so major malls. And it's not fun. And that's a big reason why there's fewer and fewer malls. And yes, shopping online is convenient. However, it's about creating the experience and the relationship with that boutique or with that independent retailer that ultimately, when they get to know you and you get to know them, it's very easy to just walk through the door and they almost know what you're coming in looking for.
Awesome. How about the second question?
So as I mentioned, if you go on revereshoes.com, you can click on the dealer where to buy link, and that will take you to where you can add, your location. But again, we, like in your specific market, we sell to Beck's shoes.
Okay.
And a lot of shoe stores like that in your area. They're a big retailer, independent, family-owned retailer, and they have quite a few stores in your neck of the woods.
I wanted to ask you about materials. I see that there's a few styles, and we'll talk about styles a little bit later. A lot of a few styles. I love the Oxford kind, the boot. And then I see a bunch of sandals with different leopard skin. And I see leather. When I buy a shoe, I look at leather, how soft they are, what are they made out of. What are some leather that you guys use, and what is the thinking behind that process?
So we do use leather. Usually it's calf or a similar skin. We use leather. We use real leather because just like our skin, it's breathable, it's flexible. Each foot is slightly different in shape and size. And if you're using real leather, then it's going to move and give and soften. Real leather doesn't stretch out. It really just softens and conforms and shapes to the shape of your foot. So we take leather and then we will look at the different types of finishes, whether or not it's a leopard or a silver safari, which is new for spring of 21 on this sandal here. But we look for leathers that are soft and supple and can breathe, and that is part of the feature and benefit of putting everything together to allow the consumer, the wearer, to be more comfortable and have more energy throughout the entire day.
How is your creative process like? What inspire the different styles? How many different colors do you guys use? Okay, why don't we do this? Let's change this a little bit.
Okay.
I am going to say some shoes facts, and then we can kind of talk about Revere shoes. I think that would be a lot of fun. I saw a graphic from visually about shoes in general from the UK, and it says the UK spends around 6 billion pounds per year on shoes. Do you think the population buys a lot of shoes? Spends a lot of money on shoes?
That's a challenging question because
it's a big market. Everyone needs a pair of shoes because everyone goes out.
If you look at the largest athletic brand, and I'm not going to mention them by name, they sell tens of billions of dollars worth of footwear a year. Now it is globally, but it's really supply and demand. And we are a very small company revenue-wise. And again, we don't need to be the size of the biggest athletic brand or even the biggest comfort brand out there, but it really is a case by case basis, because if I'm a guy, and I am a guy, I only need 3 or 4 shoes. Now I've got a lot of shoes, but really I go to the same 4 or 5 shoes every week. So somebody in your position, traveling a lot, they may choose and they may like to have more shoes than the average person. But I think, if you just look at the average person, they're not buying more than a couple of pairs of shoes a year. So would we like our consumers to be buying more? Obviously, but I mean, 6 billion for the UK sounds about right just based on their population. I'm sure the revenue here in the United States for footwear is, I don't know, 30 times that.
Yeah, this UK company has 2,144 different styles of shoes to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that Revere has a X number of different styles.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask what inspired those different styles. I see sandals, I see Oxfords,
Mm-hmm.
I see booties, that's what they're called.
Yeah, yeah. So we take inspiration, as do a lot of footwear companies, from apparel trends.
Hmm.
So our product developer, Annie, that is one of the co-founders, that's where she does a lot of her research, is on the apparel side.
Hmm.
So, a normal time frame for developing a new shoe is approximately 18 months.
Oh,
So from the
awesome.
time you sit down to draw up a design or you have an idea to the time it rolls out to a Beck store is about 18 months. And, we're looking at fashion. They usually set the stage for what's coming down as far as materials and prints and colors. So we'll take inspiration from that and then we will make it our own. So we're not trying to become anybody.
Hmm.
We know what works for us, but we've been, again, we take inspiration from the fashion world, but we also design our product for comfort and for delivering a ton of fit and comfort benefits. But yeah, a lot of what we do comes from the fashion world.
Awesome, awesome. I think I designed a pair of shoes with loafers and wedges.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually loafers are flat, but I wanted to add heel to it. But I
Mm-hmm.
want a comfortable heel, so I added some wedges to it. It was a lot of fun, and I wore that pair of shoes for a long time. And it says that if you have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of style, if you wear like one pair a day, it would take 6 years to wear them all. I have no idea if I wear one pair of shoes in my closet a day, how long it would take to actually wear them all. But I don't do that, which is good. And I want to talk about color. I
Yep.
know that you guys have a variety of color. For me personally, I tend to buy a lot of black, gray, nude, because I'm kind of into that because it pairs with everything.
Yeah,
And even within nude, there's just different shades of nude.
there are.
And then I like red because it pops.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else, I have probably a pair of each, especially
Yeah.
if you're talking about canvases and
Yep.
stickers and stuff like that, because those are more colorful. What
Yeah.
kind of color do you guys use?
Sort of to back up, because we do have the core colors, and we use a lot of black lizard and sapphire lizard. We do a really good job with sort of metallic interests
Mhm.
and the leopards and the cognacs, which is a rich. I'll show you. You can see it.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, this rich cognac tan, which is super flexible and laser cut on the upper.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and twin zips. So it's
I would wear
really,
that to Africa safari.
yeah, really easy to get in and out of. But we also do a really good job with like cherry lizard, which is new for spring 21. And what we've found is that even though we do a lot of these basic colors, we do them in finishes that make them pop. And that's what we've found since, the last couple of years that I've been here, is that our consumer gravitates to us because our materials and our styles really, they pop without being, you know into that super fashionable cutting edge world where they don't want to be. They want to look good and they want to feel good, and which they do in our shoes. And if you look good and you feel good, I mean, that builds up your confidence and really allows you to take on anything.
Mhm. Yeah, I love the confidence and the fact that it allows you to do anything, but you don't have to worry about your shoes because there are other things that you want to focus on.
Right, right.
So I think that's why shoes are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And you don't want it to. I mean, it's kind of like wearing a tube top. You don't want to be adjusting your strap every 5 minutes. You want to just really go out there and just do what you need to do
You do.
and then go home and relax.
That's right. And I'll never wear a tube top, so I can't relate to that.
So 15, it says in this infographic that 15% of women have a pair of shoes for every day of the month. So let's talk a little bit about function.
Yep.
As a person, a human, I do different things every day. I can go jogging, I can go hiking, I can go to the office, I can go shopping, I can go grocery shopping,
Mm-hmm.
I can go do some archery, go play pool, do photography. And I guess there is a pair of shoes for everything, literally. If I go dancing, I'll bring a pair of shoes, and that depends on what type of dancing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of activities or functions of that everyday woman do you as a company focus on?
So, when we were first started back in 2012, we were founded back in Craig and Annie Truscott's homeland of Australia on the Gold Coast. So on the Gold Coast, it's pretty nice weather 12 months out of the year. So they first started developing sandals only because that's what works down where they are from. When they came here, they saw that opportunity. They saw the opportunity to create footwear for a multitude of situations. However, we settled on a few of those situations. So we can't make shoes for everything that you do in your life. So we have to sort of focus in on A, what we do best, and B, what our customers know us for, and then start to expand from there. So when they came over, it was just sandals. So we had a decent sized market on the West Coast and a good market down in Florida and a little bit here and there, but not everywhere in the country. And it wasn't until we started producing year-round shoes, some of those Oxfords and slip-ons. And our target market is, I'd say, the 40 to 60-year-old woman. Now, it covers a little bit below that with certain styles and above that in certain styles, but that's sort of where our target market is. So she works, but she also goes to the beach or she goes out at night. So our sandals are good for going to the beach, going out at night. Our footwear, depending upon what her profession is, we do have shoes and booties that can accommodate sort of all day at work and then sort of being versatile enough to get her through dinner at night.
Awesome. Yeah, I love your booties and the Oxfords. I mean, they can be found. I mean, I can imagine them at Urban Outfitters. So
Yeah,
it doesn't, I mean, so it covers the 20s and the 30s as well, not just 40 to 60.
So, that's an interesting point because over the last couple of years, our demographic and our consumer age range has actually been getting younger.
Yeah, because I can see that because they're pretty cute.
Yeah.
And the infographic I'm referring to is called "Interesting Facts About Shoes," and it says that on average, women purchase 4 pairs of shoes a year, 188 pairs in your working life. I think that kind of depends on the quality of shoes as well, and the functionality because and how active the woman is, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, I don't want to name the retailer that you went to because you needed comfortable shoes because you were uncomfortable, but they probably didn't cost a lot retail wise, but they also were only going to provide a certain level of comfort for you for a relatively short period of time. So if you wanted to live in those shoes, you would probably have to buy a pair every other month because of the cushioning wearing down and just the functionality just not being there to sustain it or your comfort long term.
Yeah.
So, our sandals will, the materials that we use, and again, it depends on what you're using them for, but on average, they're going to last you a lot longer and deliver those benefits of the comfort and cushioning for a lot longer. And they're going to cost you a little bit more, but they're going to deliver a level of value that you're not going to find in those, other less expensive products.
Yeah, I love expensive shoes. I mean, they're not expensive per se,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember that I was hiking down Grand Canyon in a leather boot by Savitar. I probably it's just some designer. He's famous. I guess he invented the stiletto, and and I was able to go all the way down without even anything hurting.
Great.
And I think people were really surprised. But I
Yeah.
think fine leather and a well-made pair of shoes make a big difference.
Makes all the difference in the world.
All the
Yes.
difference in the world.
All the difference in the world. That's,
And
yeah.
nothing compares to that.
No, no. That's why we say, that we create beauty from the inside out, because we do spend a lot of time on the engineering of our footbeds to provide comfort and supportive stability for the foot. So really nice heel cup that aligns the foot properly, and an arch support that and an arch profile that isn't aggressive but is designed to just support the foot. And then looking for and finding all the time just beautifully rich leathers that add to that value and benefit of providing all day comfort with soft supple leathers that just form to the foot and move with the foot.
Mhm. Let's talk a little bit about the foot. It says in this graphic that 25% of the foot is made out of bones. So about 26 bones, about 33 joints, about 107 ligaments, and
Mm-hmm.
19 muscles per foot. I
Yes.
noticed that if I wear heels every day and if I'm on rocks, my foot acts a little bit differently because it's used to that arch.
Of course.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not healthy, but I do it anyways. And that 43% has been injured by shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there is a lot of R&D that goes into the design of comfort so
Mm-hmm.
that we don't get injured by our shoes. Can you discuss or share a little bit about that process?
Sure, absolutely. So we work with podorthists, foot specialists in the medical field that understand the biomechanics of the foot. And so we understand that our footbeds are not engineered to be corrective, or if your feet tend to pronate or supinate, which means they either sort of fall in or they fall out how you walk. Ours are very neutral, so they're designed to fit most feet comfortably and supportively.
Mhm.
But to your point about wearing heels all day,
Mhm.
that speaks to the sort of the pitch
Mhm.
of the shoe, the angle of the shoe or the wedge or the heel. And so when you're in heels and your toes and forefoot are lower than your heel, there's pressure being forced down towards the front of your foot. And what we've done to accommodate that, and again, we don't have heels, but we do wedges. This is about an inch and a half, inch and
Awesome.
yeah. So, and you can't see it on this screen, but in the forefoot area, we have slight
Mhm.
bump called a metatarsal bump.
Awesome.
And what that does is it provides a relief area for the foot and the pressure to be dispersed, because the foot is at a slight upward angle. So there's more pressure going down. So that metatarsal bump actually disperses that pressure so that you won't get that pain at the end of the day. Now, not all footwear companies can design or engineer the shoe to be made that way, because if it's a high-end fashion heel, it's very trim and narrow and streamlined, and it doesn't allow for a lot of the stability or the cushioning to be designed into it.
I love the pair of shoes, the tennis shoes with the heels or the wedges.
Hmm.
Ew. I saw that on the site.
Our shoes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
We launched that. So we have four styles: the Athens, the Crete, the Chicago, and the Bruges, and five styles, and the Dublin, which is the look up the Dublin, which is this little booty in black lizard. We want to come out with a category of athleisure
mhm.
that delivered all the functionality and comfort benefits of an athletic shoe,
Mhm.
but didn't look athletic.
I
So
love how your sandals. I could see myself going hiking with a pair of your sandals because they have awesome straps.
yeah,
I usually hike with sandals, I
hmm,
would say, and I think because I just wanted to my feet to breathe
yeah, yeah,
versus wearing a pair of tennis shoes. So I thought that's really cool. But I can see a person's wearing the booties or even the Oxford for
hmm,
even with a dress.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So
we
that's pretty cool.
yeah, it is. And to your point about the sandals, I don't know how severe of a hike you're going on, but our sandals provide multiple strap adjustability. So if you're starting out in the morning and it's cool and your feet are a certain size in the morning, and then you're hiking all day long and the temperature increases and your feet swell a little bit, you can adjust and personalize the fit of your sandals for each foot to your liking and your comfort level.
What is the future of shoes or shoe design?
So I think it depends on what category. I know on the athletic side,
Mhm.
customization is a big push.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think the larger companies can really sustain that part of footwear design
Mhm.
because they have the size and scale to allow for consumers to customize the products to their liking, whether or not it's. But I think for somebody like our company, Revere, it's a little bit more challenging because we're a smaller company. We fill a niche and a void in the marketplace, and our target market, isn't the 16-year-old or the 20-year-old that wants to customize. It's the woman that's 40 to 60, a little bit younger, a little bit older, that tends to know who she is and what her needs are. And it's up to us to go to her and her consumer base and make sure we're listening to what it is that they need.
Okay. And where do we find the company? So revereshoes.com?
So revereshoes.com
Okay.
is our website, and there is where you can find our entire assortment. And again, that's where you can go on to our where to buy site and plug in your location to find out local retailers in your area. And it's again, we're developing our business in the independent premium retailers around the country, which I love because that's where my background is, and I think it's important to shop local and important to create those relationships and have the experiences. And so yeah, revereshoes.com.
I love boutiques as well.
Hmm.
And is there something that you want to share that I have not asked you?
I think we covered a lot. I think, although Revere is a relatively small and new company to the United States, we've come a long way. And I think within the next couple of years, our brand will be recognized a lot more. And we still will insist on developing and growing the business in the premium distribution channel. We're not everywhere online, and we choose to stay small and local because we feel very lucky, and we feel it's very important to grow the business and support other like-minded retailers.
Awesome. I can't wait to buy a pair.
Good.
And what is that one wisdom that you would like to share with the community?
Well, I think it is going back to if you look good. So if you put on a suit the dress, if you put on a pair of shoes and they look good, but they also feel great, I think that can carry you through any situation. And again, give you the confidence to take you really anywhere you want to go.
And Brian, I know you for a long time, and I know that you know everything about shoes. What is your favorite pair of shoes for yourself?
I'm going to go back to the company that we first met when I was working for.
I love
Uh,
that company, by the way, as
you know,
well.
and probably say the Wallaby.
Wow, yeah, that is your favorite shoes. That is. You mentioned Wallaby all the time, and that's for men. It's really cute.
It is.
It's actually remind me of the one that you just showed me,
Mm-hmm.
the booty, the African.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. This one.
Completely different, but a little bit. It's
Yeah. Yep.
awesome. Thank you for your time, Brian.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Bye.
Bye.